Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Introduce us from Group 18 wants to explain about reading comprehension. Group 18 with my own members Nazifa Intan Syafitri and my friends Widya Pramaswita. We're from the University of Indraprastha PGRI Jakarta. Let me explain about reading comprehension. Reading comprehension is the main part of reading activities in which a reader builds an understanding of the text. He combines logical thinking with the set of letters, words, and sentences that appear in the text. Reading comprehension have a whole range of kinds. One of them, determining where specific information is found. Determine where specific information is found. We are usually asked how many times in a line. At least. Example, where in the passage does the author discuss the composition of the meteor? Where in the writer sentences we were discussing material from the meteor. Don't miss with K. The first above, the keyword is suspected of the meteor. Please search and see if we can find him. There are examples of this material. Passage 1. Beavers generally live in family clusters consisting of 6 to 10 members. One cluster would probably consist of 2 adults, 1 male and 1 female, and 4 to 8 young beavers or kids. A female beaver gives birth each spring 2 to 4 babies at a time. These baby beavers live with their parents until they are 2 years old. In the springtime of their second year, they are forced out of the family group to make room for the new babies. These 2-year-old beavers then process to start new family cluster of their own. Okay, and his question, where in the passage does the author give the name of a baby beaver? A. Line 1, B. Line 2, C. Line 3, and D. Line 5 and 6. And my answer, one cluster would probably consist of 2 adults, 1 male and 1 female, and 4 to 8 your beaver of kids. So, B, line 2. And then, number 2. Where in the passage does the author mention the time of year when new baby beavers are born? A, line 1, B, line 2, C, line 3 and 4, D, line 5 and 6. And my answer, C, line 3 and 4. A female beaver gives birth each spring 2 to 4 babies at a time. These baby beavers live with their parents until they are 2 years old. And number 3. Where in the passage does the author state the age at which beaver must go out on their town? A, line 1, B, line 2, C, line 3, and D, line 5 and 6. And my answer, D, line 5 and 6. These baby beavers live with their parents until they are 2 years old. In the springtime of their second year, they are forced out of the family group to make room for the new babies. These 2-year-old beavers then proceed to start new family cluster of their own.
Passage 2, question 5 until 7. Chamber music received its name because it was originally intended to be performed in a small room in the private homes rather than concert halls or theaters. Today, it has evolved into small ensemble music in which each performer in the ensemble plays an individual part. The competition written for this type of performance can usually be classified into their distinct periods, each with its style of music and instrumentation. In the earliest periods, 1450 until 1650, the viola and other instrumental families developed considerably, and instrumental music took its first step toward equal footing with vocal music. In the second period, 1640 until 1740, 50, trio sonatas dominated that ensemble competition were often written for two violins and a cello. The harpsichord was also featured in the various competitions of this period. In the modern period after 1750, the preponderance of chamber music was written for the string quartet, an ensemble composed of two violins, a viola, and a cello. 5. Wherein the passage does the other discuss the modern definition of chamber music? A. Line 3 until 4, B. Line 5 until 7, C. Line 10 until 12, D. Line 12 until 15. And the answer is B. Line 4, line 5 until 7. The competition written for this type of performance can usually be classified into their distinct periods, each with its style of music and instrumentation, 1450 and until 1650. The viola and other instrumental developed considerable, and instrumental music took its first step forward, equal footing with vocal music. 6. Wherein the passage does the other discuss the period when ensemble for their instrument predominate? A. Line 3 until 4, B. Line 5 until 7, C. Line 6 until 12, D. Line 12 until 15. And the answer is D. In the second period, 1650 until 1750, through trio sonata dominated this ensemble competition were often written for two violins and a cello. The harpsichord was also featured in the Venice competition for of this period. After 1750, the performance of chamber music was written for the strings quartet, an ensemble composite of two violins, a viola, and a cello. 7. Wherein the passage does the other mention music written for string? A. Line 3 until 4, B. Line 5 until 7, C. Line 7 until 12, D. Line 12 until 15. And the answer is D. The harpsichord was also featured in a Venice competition of the period after 1750. The performance of chamber music was written for the string quarters, a viola, and a cello. Passage 3. Question 8 until 10. It is common practice to coat metal such as iron and steel with a protective layer of zinc or an alloy made from zinc mixed with aluminum, cadmium, or tin, a process known as galvanization. The purpose of galvanization is to prevent the corrosion of the iron or steel. The most common method to galvanize metal in the hot dip galvanizing process. In this process, the iron or steel is dipped into a hot bed of a zinc alloy to form a protective coating approximately 0.003 inches thick. Another method of galvanizing that is not as common is the process known as electrogalvanizing. In this process, the metal is placed in a solution composed of zinc subplate and water and is then charged electrically, discs a thin layer of zinc to coat the metal. Zinc is effective in galvanizing metals such as iron or steel in that zinc reaches more easily with oxygen than iron does. If iron is unprotected, it's reacted with the oxygen in the air to form iron oxide or rust, which leads to the corrosion of the iron. If, however, the iron is coated with zinc as it is in the galvanization process, then it is the zinc rather than the iron which interact with the oxygen to form zinc oxide, and the iron is not subject to corrosion. 8. Where the passage does the other list the component of a zinc alloy. A. Line 1 until 3. B. Line 5 until 7. C. Line 12 until 13. And the answer is C. The most common method to galvanize metal is the hard dip galvanizing process. In this process, the iron distilled is dipped into a hotbed of a zinc alloy to form a protective coating approximately. 9. Wherein the passage does the other present the less routinely used process of galvanization. A. Line 1 until 3. B. Line 5 until 7. C. Line 7 until 11. D. Line 12 until 13. And the answer is D. 003. Insectic. Another method of galvanizing that is not as common is the process known as cried galvanize. In this process. 10. Wherein the passage does other describe what happens when iron and oxygen interact. A. Line 5 until 7. B. Line 7 until 11. C. Line 13 until 15. D. Line 15 until 17. And the answer is D. The iron of, however, the iron is coated with 2-inch as efficient in the galvanization process than it is the zinc rather than the iron which interact with the oxygen from the iron is not subject to corrosion. Thank you for your listen and watching this video. I've used being useful and signing. Bye.